Welcome to Art and Soul, the space where creativity, spirituality, healing, and meaningful living meet. Take a breath and arrive here fully. Maybe unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders, and let the nervous system know it's safe to soften for a moment. Today's episode is about liberation. Spiritual liberation, creative liberation, liberation from suffering, liberation from false identities, liberation from the fear that keeps us disconnected from our deepest selves. Because many people are alive, but not fully living. Many people are productive, but spiritually exhausted. And somewhere beneath all the noise, the soul is still asking, what would it feel like to be free? When I think about liberation, I don't think about becoming someone else. I think about remembering who you were before the world told you to be. Liberation is not adding more layers, it's removing them. The masks, the conditioning, the survival identities, the pressure to constantly perform worthiness. And honestly, many of us built entire lives around being acceptable, being useful, being impressive, being easy to love. But liberation asks a difficult question. Who are you without the performance? Who are you when nobody is grading your value? Who are you when you stop trying to earn your right to exist? That is spiritual work. And it's also creative work, because creativity is often one of the first things fear tries to silence. Children arrive in this world already free in their expression. They move before they learn self-consciousness. They create before they learn perfectionism. They invent entire worlds from imagination alone, without asking whether they are talented or marketable or worthy. And a child doesn't ask a question whether their joy deserves to exist. They paint wildly. They sing without embarrassment. They dance without needing approval. And somewhere along the way, many of us inherit fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being fully seen. But across many spiritual traditions, liberation has always meant returning to our essential nature. In yoga philosophy, liberation from suffering, moksha, is the awakening from illusion, attachment, and the false identities that keep us disconnected from the soul. It is freedom from the internal conditions that imprison the spirit. Our ancestors understood liberation not only as political freedom, but as spiritual wholeness, the right to exist with dignity, creativity, connection, inner peace. They carried songs, rituals, storytelling, movement, and art as pathways back to remembrance. And thinkers like Marcus Garvey taught that true liberation begins in the mind, that a people disconnected from their identity, imagination, and self-worth can never be fully free. Creative liberation is part of that awakening, Spiritual liberation is part of that awakening. Because when we reclaim our ability to create honestly, to live truthfully, and to remember who we are beneath fear and conditioning, we begin liberating ourselves from suffering itself. Spiritual liberation is not about escaping humanity. It is about fully inhabiting it. It is realizing that your worth is not transactional. You do not need to become more impressive to deserve peace. You do not need to become more enlightened to deserve love. You do not need to become perfect to belong here. And I think many people are spiritually exhausted because they have confused performance with alignment. You can meditate every day and still abandon yourself. You can use spiritual language and still live disconnected from your truth. Liberation asks, does your life feel true? Not optimized, not aesthetic, not curated, but true. Because the body knows when we are betraying ourselves. The nervous system knows. Creativity knows. And usually the soul whispers before it screams. At first it feels like restlessness, disconnection, creative numbness. Then eventually burnout, anxiety, emotional exhaustion. Not because you are broken, but because some part of you is asking to live honestly. Creative liberation is one of the most radical experiences a human being can have, because a liberated person becomes difficult to control. A liberated artist no longer asks, what will people approve of? They ask, what is true? And that changes everything. Creative liberation means creating without needing permission, expressing without over-explaining, making art from devotion instead of validation, allowing imperfection to exist, trusting intuition again. And creativity is not limited to painting or writing or music. Creativity is how you live, the way you love people, the way you move through the world, the way you speak to yourself, the way you build your life. A meaningful life is a creative act. You are shaping reality every single day through attention, imagination, and intention. And maybe liberation is simply this: to stop living mechanically, to stop living according to scripts that deaden the soul, to become present enough to actually experience your own existence. Here is the paradox. Freedom can feel terrifying because once external rules disappear, responsibility appears. Liberation means you can no longer blame the cage. You must decide who you are. What matters? What kind of life feels sacred to you? And many people avoid liberation because certainty feels safer than truth. Even suffering can become familiar. But eventually the soul gets tired of living half alive. And maybe transformation begins there, not in certainty, but in refusal. the refusal to keep betraying yourself, the refusal to keep shrinking, the refusal to keep abandoning your spirit for survival. Sometimes liberation begins very quietly, by resting without guilt, by saying no, by making art again, by telling the truth, and by allowing yourself to be seen authentically for the first time. Tiny acts of honesty become doorways into freedom. I don't think a meaningful life is necessarily a famous life, or a wealthy life, or even a perfectly happy life. I think a meaningful life is an aligned life, a life where your inner world and your outer world are no longer strangers, a life where beauty matters again, where wonder matters again, where your spirit is not sacrificed for productivity. And maybe that is why art matters so deeply. Art reminds us that we are more than machines, more than workers, more than brands, more than algorithms. Art reconnects us to mystery. And spirituality, at its deepest level, does the same thing. Both art and spirituality ask us to become more awake, more present, more honest, and more alive. So today, I want to leave you with the question: what would liberation look like in your life right now? Not someday, now. What would it mean to live more truthfully, more creatively, more soulfully? Maybe liberation is not a destination. Maybe it's a daily practice of returning to yourself again and again and again. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who may need this reminder. Until next time, protect your spirit, honor your creativity, and keep creating a life that feels like freedom. This is Art and Soul. I'll see you in the next episode.